She's making me cold, a demon. She's stripping my soul. I'm feeling like people see but nobody knows. Oh, 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 oh. There must be another 100 like me. Oh, there must be another 100 like me.
How do you feel about the Golden Stone years? Was that fun?
Oh my God, that was so beautiful. I actually, so the way that the gig worked for me on the day, I opened the show with 2 of my own songs and Gimme Shelter.
Right.
And then I had a break and it came on when the choir came on. So for me, Let It Be was the song that I enjoyed the most on the day, because
Wow.
I had kind of gotten through the hardest part of my set, like vocally, and I just enjoyed every bit of it. It was the choir that they got, the London Contemporary Voices Choir. They came into the rehearsal and they had learned every single backing vocal in Let It Be to a T. Like, I've never heard anything like it.
Wow.
We ran it once in rehearsal. Probably one of those events where we landed. So it was myself and my keyboard player, who comes basically most face with me, Sarah. It was one of those events where we were kind of landed in the middle of it, and we kind of were like, how have we wound up here, in a very good way. You know, we were walking around on the day before at the sound check. Well, first of all, when we arrived, we went to this just amazing rehearsal space. And I've rehearsed in a lot of places in London, but I actually had never been to this place. It's like this massive rehearsal space. You know, we were already really excited because we knew who the session band was going to be. Obviously, I play with my own band, and I have played with the same people for the past couple of years. So we're very polished, very well rehearsed. So there's kind of like that safety net all the time when we're playing live, that like I just have to just arrive and just basically perform, and the guys just take care of everything. So it's kind of cool to just arrive into a situation where we were going to get to meet these just amazing session players from like all of these incredible bands. So like we got to play with Mel Gaynor, who is the drummer for Simple Minds.
Wow.
Yeah, like, and he's, oh God, he's so good. And we got to play with the bass player for the Pretenders. Yeah, Andy Hobson was his name. And Toby Chapman was the MD. And it was just, you know, from the start of that day, like they basically played, I ended up playing 2 of the Stones songs at the gig. And then I ended up playing 2 of my own songs, which I thought was really, really cool for them to allow me to do, because obviously it was a tribute gig. So the guys went and they learned 2 of my songs, one which is released called 100 Like Me, and one called Woman, which is going to be coming out towards the end of the year.
Wow. And
it was just an amazing process, I suppose, to be thrown in and to have to kind of direct, like, steer the ship a little bit for them, because obviously they had so many songs to get through, and for them to just do what they did on my songs is unreal. And then the next day we
were they that good that everything was in sync when you performed? It felt okay as opposed to a regular band.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was different. Like, and I don't think different is generally always a bad thing, you know, because what I find of playing with different musicians, like if I ever have to get somebody in, like a dep into my band for, say, if one of the guys is away or whatever, there's a little bit of like of a spark of sort of magic that comes with the fact that you have somebody completely fresh coming in who's going to naturally play differently to the player that you already have. So like, for instance, sometimes I use a different drummer depending on like the schedule of my regular drummer.
Right. And
when the different drummer comes in, the music feels different, but not in a bad way. It feels good. Like, it feels not better, not worse.
Right.
Just,
but maybe keeps you on your toes or keeps it fresh or some change.
It's just exciting.
Right.
Yeah, it's like different. Every player of every instrument is going to play things differently.
Right.
So for us, like when we were at the rehearsal for the show, particularly Mel on the drums, like he was incredible. You know, he's just one of those amazing session players that you get a chance to sing with.
Right.
And then towards the end of the day, I was also going to be doing Let It Be by the Beatles with a choir, so the London Contemporary Voices Choir.
Wow.
And that was amazing. You can actually see like a little recording of that on my like Instagram.
Let it be, let it be, let it be, oh, be. There will be an answer, let it be. And when the night is coming, let me see the light that shines on me. Shine on some tomorrow, let it be.
How long did you guys rehearse for? For
2 hours.
2 hours for 5 songs, really?
Yeah, for four songs, but it was certainly sweet.
You presume everyone knew. Is that how the covers?
It was a squeeze. You know, you need to get into the fabric of certain things, and particularly for the guys, because obviously the songs that I was doing of my own stuff, like, you know, it was, you know when you're playing kind of like stuff like the Stones and some of the Beatles stuff that we played on the day. Like, you just know those, even if you don't know them, you know them. You know what I mean? So, like, somewhere in the back of your mind, you've heard them on the radio. Right. So for them to actually learn 2 songs, I mean, presumably none of them were massive Stephanie Rainey fans before they met me. So I think it was just, it was just great to like get in and try and work it out with them.
A kind of a one for the files and your memory files to work with such great musicians. So it also kind of reflects interesting, Stephanie, on the whole organization. They seem quite together, the whole thing. Is that right? Yeah,
absolutely. You know, I mean, it was. I don't think, I guarantee you, it wasn't an easy thing to pull together to get all those people in one place, but it came together really, really well. It just was like, it was, you know, but Let It Be is a beautiful song. I was honoured to actually get to sing that. Beatles were one of my favourite bands growing up, so it was just so cool to play it with those players back where.
Did you get a sense of it, because it sounds beautiful also the way that you're just describing the process, did you get a sense that the show was curated? I mean, yeah, there's a lot of controversy about Brian and the Stones and all this sort of stuff. Such a lovely thing to come back with a song like Let It Be and with a choir. It's very beautiful in a way. It's very peaceful. And did you get a sense it was kind of curated well, the show, in terms of, or did it just come together?
I think it was just nice to pick the songs that he had lent himself to in some sort of way, you know. Right. It was the way, like, the songs that were chosen on the day, they were just like the Stones, like a lot of the stuff that were the Rolling Stones songs. They were just.
Sorry, did you do Let It? Oh, you did Let It Bleed.
Let It Be, by the Beatles.
Right. Okay, Let It Be. That's what I thought. Yeah, that's a kind of that's a kind of McCartney.
Yes.
You know, a lovely sort of, you know, his positivity and stuff like that. Which one needs?
It's kind of like it's a gospel ballad, really. Like, if you look back to it,
right?
Yeah,
right. Absolutely, beautiful, simple chords, but such a gospel track.
It came together really, really well.
The 2 songs that you did, can you talk about those a little bit more? You just mentioned their name again.
Yeah, for sure. So 100 Like Me, like, I brought that out in 2016. And like it got released mainly in Ireland, so it's a song that we're definitely going to look at re-releasing in a few different territories, because it has this big, massive chorus in it.
Hunted Like Me.
100.
Oh, 100. Like me.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a title.
It's cool style, yeah, and the song the song did great over here. It's one of the ones that when we play live, people just go crazy for it. They sing it back, and it kind of became this sort of kind of anthem for like mental health issues. Like,
wow.
People really gravitated towards it because the whole idea and concept of the song is that you constantly think especially when you're growing up. And I think just generally day-to-day life, I think a lot of people feel like any problem that they're facing or anything that they're going through, people feel extremely like isolated and alone in that. You know, I mean, sometimes you can be going through something and you just feel like you're the only person in the world who is going through that particular thing or who is feeling a certain way.
Right.
And the whole concept of the song was born out of realizing that actually there's 100 people like you, which is obviously reductive because there's probably more like millions, but it sounded good.
Quite powerful.
So
quite powerful when people connect with that sort of thing as a crowd. I mean, when people connect emotionally with a song, it's quite powerful. But with that, probably you have this aha moment where people go, wow, I get that. I get what she's saying.
That's totally what it feels like. And aside from the fact that it has like a kind of a deeper meaning than I think maybe your average radio song, it is very catchy, which always helps. You know what I mean? Sure. There's content in it, but it also just kind of, it's something where people can kind of just let loose a little bit and sing, and it's really chanty and big drums. So it was cool to get to play that, and it's a song that I'm very proud of, and a song that I feel was never really given the full chance that it should have gotten when it was actually put out. So we're going to rectify that in the next couple of months, and it's going to be something that's
we could maybe hear that in England soon or in the States.
That's the plan. The plan is to certainly break it out of Ireland, because Ireland is small, you know. Right. It's a little bit of a vacuum, and you just have to spread the wings. And I know, like, not everyone would agree that going back to a song is always the best thing, but some of the best songs that you hear that you know are songs that were re-released time and time again. Right. I have that belief in that particular song. So
if I'm honest, she's making me go a demon. She's stripping my soul. I'm feeling like people see but nobody knows. There must be another 100 like me. Oh, there must be another 100 like me. Oh, there must be another 100 like me. Tell me, I'm not the only one hiding. I'm not the only one hiding.
Well, tell us about the other song first, anyway, and then maybe we'll talk about some of the covers that you did at the show. Yeah,
for sure. So the other song, Woman, it's a song it's one of my most recent ones that I've written. And I wrote that. So basically, it's kind of, the song kind of has a history. I wrote the chorus ages ago, which is just like one line repeated, which is like what it means to be a woman, And it's kind of, I had the chorus idea. And I went to write it in a session in London. I used to do a lot of like co-writing. I still do a lot of co-writing, but I was in an intense period of co-writing with like lots of different writers in London. And I went in with another writer who is a great writer, I might add. It is, you know, it's not a reflection on him as a writer or anything like that, but the song just kind of went in a direction I think that I didn't really want it to go in. You know, I think we kind of focused on it as sort of like a kind of, you know, a heartbreak story. So like, you kind of broke my heart, and you know, I'm kind of this vulnerable woman that like needs somebody, basically. And it was kind of it wasn't like this idea that was like, it was pushed in the session or anything like that. It just kind of ended up being that way. Right. But the months passed, and I knew I was probably never going to use that version. I kind of had just put the song on the shelf. I was like, I'm not going to use that. It's not something that I feel like I could sing or connect to. Mm-hmm. And some sessions are like that. You know, you go into some sessions and you just hit nail in the head, and other sessions, you know, it just doesn't go that way. And I'm sure if I wrote more songs with the same person, they would have turned out to be brilliant. It was just what we did on the day just didn't work.
Sure.
So I sat down and I had my keys player Sarah here one day, and I said, I want to do something with this chorus, because I said I feel like this chorus is like, it's big, you know, it's powerful, and I feel like with the right framing and the right content, it could be a really, really important song.
Right.
So I just said to her, I was like, the only person I said that I could think about writing this song about is like my mom. Because I was like, it's not meant to be something that is sort of like a fuck you to like men, or it's not meant to divide people. It's meant to be a song that everybody can relate to.
Right. Okay.
That because there's so much of a divide going on, I think, at the moment, like in the world anyway, just between like there is a lot of divide, I think, across the board between different things.
That's so interesting.
And I think sometimes the divide doesn't need to be there, and sometimes I think you can kind of come together to actually have the same point of view. So for me, it was important to not write the song about getting your heart broken, or I'm a sassy, empowered woman and like screw you. It was meant to be about somebody in your life who has impacted you, whether you're a man, a woman, a kid, like whatever it is.
Someone important in your life.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's meant to be powerful.
What was it like before? How did you feel on the stage? Do you get nervy? How did you feel going over? Was there like these big names? You're like, holy shit, it's Donovan, or the Mike Scott, or what the fuck? Excuse me.
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely.
Or are you just too good now? You just How did it feel singing the songs? Is my sense. Did you just get swept away?
In rehearsals, I'm pretty confident at from years of doing it, and I think that like I've hit my stride as a musician, and I don't like, I feel like I'm just capable of like landing in situations and making them work, and I feel like I'm capable of performing very well. As it turned out, at the gig, on the day of the gig, I actually was starting to develop like this virus that I ended up having after for the week. So my voice was just about to go. So unfortunately, there was parts of the gig that I couldn't enjoy as much as I would have liked to on the day. I enjoyed the entire process, but it was a teeny bit stressful just because I was a little bit under the weather.
Right.
So those things always tend to happen. I mean, I got away with it, like, and it was fine now, and you don't dwell on those things. But
I think Jason Rothberg, one of the organisers or producer, he didn't notice it at all, or he just said, "Wow, she just kind of stole the show." So you must have gotten away with it. But internally, were you thinking, "Oh my God, my voice could crack at any moment"?
Oh. Absolutely, yeah. Like, it's just you know what it is. I hate when you are trying to do something. And, but there's just something internal that you have to keep focusing on. Like, I hate when I'm not able to perform and just be present in what I'm trying to say. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Like, I felt like I was present in what I was trying to say, and I did as much as I could, but I felt like there was always like something ticking in the back of my mind, like, okay, this part's coming up, like, you got to try and, get up over that.
Oh, that's the singer's curse, isn't it? That anticipation that bends your voice. Well, look,
it is. You can tune a guitar. You can't do the same if your voice gives up.
It's just tension, isn't it? So if it's not there, then it's better.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so you make a great interview, because I have 101 questions here, but actually you're just, everything you're saying is really good. So I don't think we have to go back to them. But let me have a quick look at. Let's, while we're here, go to the other tracks. So you sang a couple of Stones tracks and talk a bit about Brian, maybe, and what the tracks were, or how was that? I mean,
it was so cool. I think I was kind of apprehensive, because when I was picking the songs, I was acutely aware of the fact that I am nothing like Mick Jagger. I will never sing like Mick Jagger. I don't have, I was kind of panicking. I was kind of because for me as well, anything that I sing, I like to be able to think that, one, we're doing a version of it that nobody's heard before,
right.
And two, that the content of the song is something that I can actually connect to. I think that's just something for me. I love when you strip down those really big songs and then you actually see Jesus. The lyrics are unbelievable. So we chose Gimme Shelter as one of the songs.
Wow.
And we did this kind of the way we did it on the day was we stripped it back to just piano and vocal. So it was this really dark kind of minor sounding version of Gimme Shelter. And it just let the entire content of the song come through, because it's all about, you know, war and like how it's just like literally a shot away. And I think it just let the lyric come through a little bit, where maybe people, you know, like people ignore lyrics sometimes because they're just so overcome by the feeling of the music. When Gimme Shelter is an absolute banger of a song. It's so good.
Such an interesting, let me not interrupt you. Any chance we can hear that at all, or any recordings?
Yeah, I mean, there's a, I don't know if I have a full recording of it, but I don't have a proper recording, but there's definitely a clip on my socials that you can see.
I'll check
I
that
can link you to all those things. I can do that, no problem.
Okay.
And it can definitely give you a vibe in terms of what we were actually going
I think
for.
we can only put a short clips up, or
yeah, it'd be great. Absolutely, go for it.
Song, that's great, but I think that one sounds. It's this funny mix of, you know, I don't know if it's like historic or classical and sort of new. And I think when they come together, it's really, really interesting, because not just like players, but also when we come from a different age and look at them. Anyway, I'll not blabber, but it sounds really good. I'll look for that.
Then at the end, we did break into the full version with the band. That was one of the things we did with the band on the day. You know, he was like, well, what if we go at the very end, we just flip it on its head and we come in with the riff, and it was cool. It was really cool.
Such a huge guitar riff too.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So I was kind of nervous on the day. I was like, God, I hope people don't think I've just like stripped the song of all of its merit, you know.
Wow, I'd really love to hear the whole thing. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's exciting for me too. So, and then what was anything else on that one? That sounds like an epic trip. If you kind of, you know, reduced it and it really worked, and then I think it's probably because the guys were like, "Come on, we're going to play this. You're going to play this. We can't even join in." So they were probably like, "Come on." They probably made elaborate points in support of the, you know, joining in. But I'm sure it probably, you know, only it added weight when they did come in. So that's great.
Yeah, it's cool.
Very cool. What was the other track you did? This other Stones track?
We did Let It Be. So we did that with the choir.
Okay, I'm going to move on in case we run out of time. I really like this. I'm going to go to. I probably don't need to go to all these, but there was a great track, "Nothing Left of You to Love." Do you like country?
I grew up like listening to folk and country. Like, I loved country music when I was a kid. I still do. I still listen to people like Chris Stapleton and Maren Morris, Casey Musgraves. Like, I love it. I just think it's some of the best music in the world, and I think it's created in such a brilliant way as well. You know, it still has all the organic sounds in it.
So give me a bit of the love I feel. Give me a bit of your heart, and I swear I'll be there until there's nothing of you left to love. Give me your body, your bones, and your breath. Give me your strength till you've got nothing left, and I swear I'll be there till there's nothing of you left to love. When I'm tired of pretending, when I can't find myself, and I'm sick of depending on someone else, I'm running for cover. I'm running for cover. I'm running for you.
I wrote Nothing of You Left to Love with a woman called Amy Wadge. She's based in London. She is one of Ed Sheeran's like long-term collaborators, basically.
Wow.
But she is 100% like a country at heart. Like, she's a folk country like fan, singer herself, you know.
Okay.
So naturally, that's what kind of came out. And again, Nothing You Left to Love is one of those tracks that like people just go crazy for at the gigs. It's, you know, smash at radio over here. And I just love playing it because it's one of those up-tempo songs that's just, it's just fun to play. There's nothing heavy about it.
Right.
But then we have also got like this down version, which is piano and vocal, which completely transforms the song into like this, from this big banging like rhythmical country pop song to a total like love ballad, you know. And that's been really, really popular on Spotify as well. Right. So yeah, I love a little bit of that time.
You know what? I think we're probably. It's interesting. You seem to structure you may do this with songs, but you seem to structure an interview. I have hardly done anything, but I think we have a very full piece, which is lovely because it's very organic. It's less choppy.
That's good.
I'm trying to think if there's anything. Yeah, how were you brought in? I mean, did you know? Is Cork very small, so you sort of knew Donovan, or you knew anybody, or how did you get dragged into it?
So I met Jason through another artist about a year ago, maybe a little bit over a year ago, and I was just instantly struck by his energy. I think Jason has some of the best energy that I didn't really know that much about him, only through the artist that he was looking after at the time. And between the jigs and the reels, to be honest, he got in touch with me about doing a cover version of one of Donovan's songs, which I did. I've done a cover of Colours by Donovan, which isn't out yet, but it will be. And he's just like this amazingly respectful guy that I just have so much time for.
Wow.
And so when I met him, he wanted to introduce me to Donovan and Linda, just because I was going to be, doing the song, and he was just trying to make the project kind of feel a bit more organic. So I met Donovan and Linda, and I gave them a CD of my music on the day. We had a cup of tea. It was lovely. And then I invited them to my Opera House show. I didn't know if they'd come or not. Like, I was just like, look, I'm going to put you guys on the list for my Opera House show. If you'd like to come along, 4 of you are more than welcome. Jason, Estrella, Donovan and Linda. And they came. And the week after, Linda phoned me, and she just was like, she just felt like they hadn't sat through a gig that they had enjoyed or that they had connected to.
Wow. And
they felt like, for whatever reason, when they came to the show, and I will say that it was a special show, it had a good feeling.
Okay.
They basically just were big fans, and I think it was actually Linda that asked Jason to ask me to come and play. So that was very cool, and it was obviously a huge honor